So when we think about connection in groups, it's just the best way of doing things to actually connect with other colleagues. So who did you go through college with? Are they still in practice? Do you want to connect with them so that you can talk about clients, so that you can talk about your practice, so that you can share shopping? I'll be phoning maybe one of the companies and their minimum spend is really quite high for what I actually need, in which case I'll contact a couple of naturopath other friends and I'll say, hey, I'm ordering from this company. Do you need anything? And they might need just one or two things. And so they're like, oh, yes, please. And they get what they need.
Hello and welcome. Mentoring with Geraldine is a bite-sized practitioner podcast for naturopaths, nutritionists, herbalists, and practitioners. This podcast responds directly to your needs, the needs of the practicing natural therapist. With interviews, herbal discussions, something business and something clinical each week, you'll get the variety you need and enjoy to stay motivated in practice.
Hello, and welcome to Mentoring with Geraldine and the Bite Size Podcast. How are you today? And why are we here? We're here to talk about business, behaviors, mindset, and all things practice and practice related. If you want to hear subjects, though, please get in contact. Please tell me what you'd like to hear. And you can email me at geraldine@mentoringwithgeraldine.biz because I really would love to hear from you. So what am I going to talk about today? Well, I was thinking, let's talk about mentoring. Okay. I know you're going, oh, well, obviously you're my mentor, Geraldine. You're in my ears right now. I am in your ears right now. And so I wanted to talk to you about what was available out there in the world, because I'm having a lot of discussions with people about connection. So really, I guess this one is going to be about connection, because it's how do we connect? How do we connect with our peers? How do we connect with our colleagues? And how do we connect with those people who are around us? So connection and how we are with connection is different. So my connection, I know I'm slack. I know I don't follow people up, like my friends, my family. And there's some people who are amazing with connection and they will just connect with you. They will keep the connection going. And you're just really grateful to have them in your life because they're the ones doing the hard yards connecting with you. So, you could say a little bit of that is to do with being an introvert. And then you go, Geraldine, you're not an introvert. We are all introverted in our own way. Trust me. So when we think about connection and connecting with other practitioners, what comes to mind for you? What comes to mind for you? You connect in Facebook, for example. We connect on LinkedIn. We connect on Instagram. But do we really connect? What I find in these spaces is there's just a smash of words sometimes. Sometimes things can get nasty. And yet somebody's written something perfectly nice and it's been misread. Because misreading happens. We go quickly through these social media channels. We read it and we answer, we slam out the answer. So there's often, as somebody who runs Facebook groups, there's often quite a bit of mediation that I have to deal with. So when we think about connection in groups, it's just the best way of doing things to actually connect with other colleagues. So are there people? So yeah, you can certainly pay me. However, the free way, who did you go through college with? Are they still in practice? Do you want to connect with them so that you can talk about clients, so that you can talk about your practice, so that you can share shopping? So when I say share shopping, a 500 ml bottle of herbs, you might not need 500 mils of Blue Flag. No one needs 500 mils of Blue Flag. So it might be an idea, if you do have colleagues that you're regularly in contact with, if you need Blue Flag, you buy a bottle between you or you buy some off them. As long as you've got the batch number and all the other things, you can buy 100 mils of their Blue Flag. You don't have to have the full 500 mils. And it's the same with other things. I'll be phoning maybe one of the companies and their minimum spend is really quite high for what I actually need, in which case I'll contact couple of naturopath other friends and I'll say, hey, I'm ordering from this company. Do you need anything? And they might need just one or two things. And so they're like, oh, yes, please. And they get what they need. So who are you connecting with that can help you in your business to achieve your aims. So you're here listening on the podcast. So hopefully this is helping you achieve your aims, and that we're connecting, and that you and I are getting to know each other. You're listening into the podcast, you're in Strictly Education and Support, you're watching. I do have a YouTube channel with the podcast. When I speak to people, often I will record them, and that will go onto the YouTube channel as well. And I'm trying to connect with you through voice, right? But you might not be a chatterer like me. You might be someone who likes to write things. So how is your blogging going? Are you okay emailing people? How do you connect with your clients and your colleagues that enhances you as the person, as the practitioner? How do you connect with people that sits well with you? And we all have different ways. So yeah, I talk. We know I talk. But how do you connect? I struggle with emails. I try my best to email once a week. And as you know, if you're on my email list, it doesn't always happen. And I try. I'm behind this week. I haven't sent one this week. I sent one last week, managed that, but not this week. So, which means that I'm going to do one right now, or after I finish talking to you. But what is it with your connection and your communication where A, you fall down, and B, where you're lifted up? So for me, that's blogging, I fall down. Lifting up is speaking. Maybe posting in social media is something that you don't like doing. How can you make it so you do like doing it? What communication system are you going to look for? And back to the beginning, who is the mentor that's going to help you, to encourage you, to keep you accountable, to make sure that you go and do those things? So that you do send those emails, that you do write that blog, that you do get on and speak on social media to tell your people why you're here and what you're doing, what it is about you that's special, what it is about your niche that helps them to get better. All right. So it's all about communication is what this chat is about today. But who's helping you to do that? I hope I am helping you to do that. I hope that you join the Academy, and that's where I really like to support everyone. They get a lot more attention in there. And we've got the virtual retreat coming up, which I'm super excited about. That was so much fun last year. And of course, it's happening again this year. I've already planned the date for next year, would you believe? I've been shopping and I've got everybody's gifts that I'll be sending. It is a different format this year because postage last year was a nightmare. For those of people who were in the Academy last year and they got a tube in the post and it sort of exploded on them trying to get things out, this year it will be in packages. I'm looking forward to being able to send those out to everybody in the Academy for our virtual retreat days. So, but it's about communication and it's about connection, and we need to connect for our sanity and for our skill set, for our learning. We need to connect so that we feel connected to the profession as well. And that's what the Academy is all about. It's really about that mindset, and it's about clinical practice. It's about being in the practice setting, coaching that client, supporting that client, their behaviors, your behaviors, and business. All around business and, being in business, keeping that practice going. Nobody really understands having your own business except somebody else who has their own business. My husband certainly doesn't understand what it is having my own business. He looks at me like, you're working really hard. Oh, you got a day off. Oh, how does that work? Yes, I set my own schedule, darling. But what is your connection? What is your communication? And who is there supporting you? I want you to really have a bit of a think about those things. And I'd like you to share this podcast with your friends. All right. If you share it with your friends and tag me, maybe I'll think of something, send you something, do something for you, because I'd love more people to know about the podcast. And I know if you're enjoying it and you've made it all the way through here to the end of today's episode, then perhaps you're listening to all the other ones as well. And perhaps it'd be great if you could share and write a review and do all the things. But I want you to think about your connections. Okay. So maybe for this one, I might create actually a little workbook. And you'll be able to get that from the website, from geraldineheadley.com website. And I will /podcast, just that's it. geraldineheadley.com/podcast, I will create it, and I will create a little workbook for you about your communication, connection, and who you have out there. How does that sound? So pop on to the, so if you didn't manage that, then don't worry, the link will be in the show notes so that you can go directly to it. So I hope you have an absolutely brilliant rest of day, and we'll be out soon, and I look forward to chatting with you soon. Bye.
Thanks so much for joining me today. Don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe to the podcast for the weekly episodes. If you'd like even more support and learning, then the Academy is for you. Here you'll find part 2 of the herbal discussions, more clinical learning, and case studies to support your clients in practice. Bye for now.